All right, I'm gonna get started because this is gonna probably
Take a while.
take a while. I mean, not I don't know if it's gonna be like last week's episode. After I edited it, it was still 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Yes, it was.
And that was cutting things out.
We lost Kevin.
I'm here.
Already.
I'm here. I'm covering up
I feel like
school logos.
the pure inebriation song from Family Guy should just be like our theme.
Most definitely.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 47 of Films and Fermentation. Tonight is a special episode. We are talking about kick-ass women in cinema. Those ladies who could kick our ass, and we would like it anyway.
Woohoo!
So for tonight's episode, we're going to look at the women who broke the mold with amazing performances in popular action films. And we're bringing back the bracket to do this. We're also going to take a look at some other types of badass women in a bonus segment later in the show. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/filmsandfermentation. Visit us at Instagram at filmsandfermentation, or drop us a line at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
Let's get the show on the road. What happened this day in film history, Mike?
This day in film history in 1955, the first presidential news conference on network television, Eisenhower, on ABC.
Sounds invigorating.
I like Ike.
I like Ike. I like Ike too.
I thought it was an important fact since it was the first ever.
The first televised presidential one, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I think the first radio one was FDR.
probably.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So was Eisenhower the one where they released a newspaper where his opponent was declared
Dewey?
a winner?
Yeah,
That
Dewey
was
was
Eisenhower,
Dewey
right?
was the projected one, and
Mhm.
everybody they had the confidence that Dewey was going to win it, and then Eisenhower holds up the.
It was the famous photo of Eisenhower holding up the newspaper
Do we win?
that said Dewey wins. I remember that just because it appears in the beginning of Cheers for some reason.
Hmm.
So I'm already refilling, and we just started the show.
It's going to be that kind of night.
What is your fun drink fact? You have a calendar fact for us, you said.
Yes. Since Prohibition, the year with the fewest breweries in the U.S. was 1978. There was only 89 breweries in operation that year. As of 2020, there are more than 8,000.
I was going to say about 4,000 of them are in Philadelphia.
And the rest are Beer USA in North Carolina.
I'd like to see the stat on how many of them actually make it past their first year of operation.
Hmm.
Because you got to assume that there's a few out there that,
No.
don't realize how difficult it is to run a business like that. Okay, so I don't really have any notes from the last show. What I do have are some notes on some TV shows that I've been watching or movies that I've seen, and like just some recommendations for you guys. So, Mike, I texted you about this the other day. There's an animated series on Amazon Prime based on Dungeons and Dragons. It's a dark comedy. It's a little raunchy, but it has like a Dungeons and Dragons vibe to it. It's called The Legend of Vox Machina.
And what's sad is right after you sent that, I swear Facebook knows everything because I saw an ad for that on Facebook.
Oh, I'm sure Facebook knows everything.
No more than 5 minutes after you texted me that.
Katie and I were talking about something the other night. I had my phone in the bedroom and we were over in the panel room. And when I went and got my phone, there was an ad on Facebook for the thing we were talking about, 8 rooms away. Nowhere where my phone could even hear me. Yeah, but I watched it. They only have the first 3 episodes available right now because that's kind of how Prime does it. They do 3 episodes and then they release another 3 episodes. So I watched it. It's pretty violent.
Didn't Dungeons and Dragons have a cartoon?
Yeah, they had one back in the day. It was one of the Saturday morning cartoons, yeah. But it was actual Dungeons and Dragons. This one is produced by a company called Critical Role.
Yeah,
So they are like a Dungeons and Dragons, adjacent company.
Yeah, they're an RPG company. They're
Mhm.
more of a rival to Wizards of the Coast.
So they produce this show, and it's pretty funny, and they have your eclectic band of characters made up of like wizards and elves and all that stuff, and they're like the losers of the Dungeons and Dragons world, but they're brought in to have to fight a dragon in the first episode. It's pretty good. It was pretty funny. And then we were talking pre-show about the Book of Boba Fett, which has become the Book of Boba Fett plus the appendix on The Mandalorian season 3. The last 2 episodes have barely included Boba Fett,
Adrian was not happy about the end of the last episode.
making Grogu choose between the Jedi life and the Mandalorian life.
Yep. She goes, why can't he have both?
I needed to talk to you gentlemen, and I wish I had remembered to bring this up before the show recording, but it doesn't matter because I can bring it up now. I had posted something on both of your, I had tagged both of you on the lyrics to The Mandalorian, and I didn't get
Yeah.
any reaction from either one of you
I
guys.
thought I
was
wrote
like,
something back.
"Oh, I don't think so.
I don't know. You sent me 2 things. Like one was the Mandalorian lyrics, and then another one was like a show opening from like a '90s comedy, but was put
Right,
the
and that was a
Mandalorian.
while back, the Growing Grogu or something
Yeah.
like that. But the other one, I
Somebody made up some lyrics to the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
the lyrics to the
I
Mandalorian.
listened to it. I don't think I left a comment on it,
Oh, okay.
but I did listen to it. Yeah.
I thought it was pretty clever, and it really kind of like,
It bashes the whole Star Wars universe.
well,
Because it says it does everything from Japan. The whole story.
But it cited the evidence though, so it doesn't take
Cite your
away
source.
doesn't take away from my love from Star Wars, but it does kind of. I mean, it cites all the things that they based it off of, and then I watched a unpacking of the last episode of the Book of Boba Fett, and that too kind of it takes away from the Japanese, spaghetti westerns that Japan did. So I mean, it's almost like scene for scene from what's it called, The Wolf and the Cub. You guys familiar with that one? No. Okay. Anyway, it's like the guy has this young apprentice. It's an infant, and it's like between a toy and a knife, and the baby has to choose between the toy and the knife to determine whether or not he's going to be his apprentice or just another child. So
Yeah, but I agree with Adrian, Mike. I think you should be able to do both.
There's
There
a
have been-
point to
there-
the last
There've been Mandalorian Jedi before,
one. There's been
and,
one.
and hey, Din Djarin's been training with the Darksaber.
and they were also, I mean, that's kind of where I thought the direction of that episode was going to be, was the Mandalorian figuring out how to go about wielding the dark saber, and that's where he finds Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano and everybody.
I was shocked to see her in the episode.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting her to show up. I knew he was in it because it was spoiled for me. I forgot to watch the episode Wednesday. I watched it last night,
Ooh.
I didn't forgot to watch it yesterday. I watched it earlier today, and when the hell did I watch it? No, I watched it last night. Usually I watch it like when I get home from work, but I forgot about it, so I watched it before I went to bed last night. And I was on IMDb, and they had Luke's face on the episode title, and I'm like, "What the fuck, man?"
Well, you don't go on those shows and those sites until after you watched it.
I was looking to see how many episodes there were in the season. I think the next episode's the final finale.
Well, they have a lot to clean up unless there's going to be a second season.
I know. I mean, and what's the second season going to be? like? 3 episodes of Boba Fett and 4 episodes of the dude with the bandage on his head from Empire Strikes Back. They'll bring IG-88 back, and it'll be all about him. Which I'm okay with. I liked IG-88.
I like the quip that Ahsoka gave to Luke. So much like your father.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Of course, she's talking about
Anakin.
Anakin and not Darth Vader.
Right.
Annie. I watched Encanto the other day.
What'd you think?
Watch that? It was pretty good. It was cute.
So you don't talk about Bruno?
Don't talk about Bruno. No.
Oh no.
Which made me laugh because that's also a line from Luca. You know. But I thought it was okay. It wasn't bad.
I've not yet seen it yet.
It was
Neither have I.
it had some pretty catchy songs. I don't know. I think right now in the last like year, the best Disney film I've seen in the last year was Coco. Like Coco was really, really good. Coco really, really got me on like an emotional level. And I expected it to be kind of like that because it was another like Latin American, type story. But it was a little bit different. But I liked it. It was cute. It wasn't bad. Nothing, no songs in it that are as annoyingly like earwormy like Let It Go. They do make a joke about Let It Go though in the film, in the movie. So.
Well, they were saying, I've heard that Bruno song is like beat every Disney song ever now.
It's the most popular song right now. Yeah. I mean, it was catchy. I don't know if it's the best song I've heard, but but I would recommend it. It was worth the watch. And I've decided I really need to start finishing the Picard series on Paramount Plus because
They're about to come out with another season, aren't
well,
they?
I watched the first half of the first season, and it took so long for them to actually get into space.
Yeah, it did.
I was getting like impatient. I'm like, it's Picard. It should be in space. And they finally got to space, and that's kind of when I stopped watching it.
Yeah.
And then like I was like, I'm gonna finish it. And I just been like putting it off. And then I saw commercials for season 2, and they're bringing back Q.
Yep.
And they're bringing back Guinan.
Yep.
And I'm like, shit, I gotta watch the show now so I can get into season 2. And then I read something today. They're only going to do a 3rd season. That's going to be the finale.
I can only watch it on the pirate app. So
well, I have Paramount Plus, so I can watch it on Paramount Plus.
That I do not have. They don't even have a free version of it.
What are we drinking tonight, gentlemen?
Okay. I'm drinking. It's called The New Normal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's backwards or not. I can't.
No, it looks good. Crossroads.
Yeah, it's Crossroads and the Catskills, New York.
Mm.
It is a northeastern India Pale Ale. The way it's described, that's not the way it's described. I was going to say armadillo. I don't want to drink something armadillo-y.
No, just corned beef.
Just corned beef. Oh man, somebody had told me that they did a hot dog flavored beer, not one, but look.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Know. I don't know. I might need to try it, at least a taster of it.
I've had a beer flavored hot dog.
Yeah.
Because when I worked at Veteran Stadium, we always cooked the hot dogs and boiled beer because it made them taste better.
Which I agree.
But just thinking about a hot dog flavored beer, it's like you just take the pot water you boil the hot dog in, pour the glass, and drink.
Just ferment it and then.
No, thank you.
So Kevin drinking an IPA tonight.
I'm here.
So you're going against the grain, right? You're not drinking a breakfast style.
No. I don't even know where this came from.
Was that maybe that
you brought it?
Wasn't in that secret pack, was it?
Wasn't in the secret pack. I'm not sure if it. No, it may have been brought from others at a period of time. I don't know. I think I have a magical cooler in my in the back of my house,
and beer just shows up.
Beer just shows up.
That's good. That's awesome. I wish I had one of those.
Yeah, me too.
Kev or Mike, what are you drinking?
I am drinking. I tried to theme it a little bit, not too great, but I am drinking Mermaid Blonde Ale from Ship Bottom Brewery.
Mm. I like the can.
Yeah.
And it says, "Our blonde ale is an easy drinking summer ale. It says that it has notes of toasted bread, biscuits, and wheat. Not bad.
Yeah. That's almost like a Kevin style beer.
Uh,
Biscuits.
yeah.
It's like biscuits and gravy. The biscuits and
no.
gravy beer.
No, it says it's very. It really has no hop taste to it though. No bitterness from the hops. It's really smooth.
Yeah, I didn't go with any sort of theme tonight or anything either. I was in a wine mood tonight. So that's all I'm drinking is wine. But what I'm drinking is Lambrusco.
Ooh,
Because every good
sweet
Italian
and cheap.
every good Italian boy has at least 2 bottles of Lambrusco in the fridge at any given time. Because if you don't, they take away your Italian American membership card. So
So is Lambrusco a red and Moscato a white?
yes.
Okay.
Lambrusco is a semi-sweet red wine. It is, yeah, it's probably one of the cheapest wines you can buy.
You buy it by the jug.
Yeah, you buy, but I mean, look at this thing. This is a medium bottle. Normally, you buy one of those big ass
Mhm.
with the little ring holder on the top thing.
Yep.
You know, this is probably like $1.50. It's by Riuniti. So yeah, so I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go some Lambrusco tonight, a little sweet wine. And I'm
This is okay, gentlemen.
using one of my giant wine glasses. So
So you're a cheap date tonight, Holly.
I didn't cheat. That's my 3rd glass. So our main segment this evening is bringing back the bracket for a little showdown between some of the most kick-ass women in cinema. So
We're a month early for a bracket, aren't we?
yeah, kind of. We always do the bracket whenever we feel like it. So
Yeah.
tonight's bracket is taking women from film who have starred in some popular action franchises and have, impressed us with both their acting skill, their action skill, their beauty, and their ability to kick our asses, which is always an attractive quality.
Like
And
the Bridget Jones trilogy.
it's actually on one of the lists. I'm like, what the hell's that got to do with this?
I was about to say, them being capable to kick our ass doesn't hurt, but it could.
Yeah. Yeah, but it hurts so good.
Hurt so good.
I have a feeling we're going to be alienating our female audience tonight and making us look bad. So,
Sorry, Mom.
so I went through and came up with a list of 32 actresses, and I tried to go this way with it. They could be people who have starred in TV shows that had, an action element to them, but they had to have had some sort of significant action film career as well. So we have a few women who just barely missed the cut for our field of 32. And that would be Summer Glau, who played River Tam in Firefly TV series. She was also in the Terminator TV series, but her only film credit that involved any sort of action is Serenity, which is the Firefly film. Right. Ziyi Zhang, who is from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I like her. I've seen her in a few films, but there's another actress from that film who has a much wider film career, and she's already on our list of 32.
Yep.
Jessica Biel, who, as far as I could tell, was only in Blade Trinity, as far as like action films go.
Mm-hmm.
She kicks ass in it. She's pretty hot in it, but I don't think I could really think of her in anything else. Brigitte Nielsen, who used to be married to Sly Stallone, who was in Red Sonja and Rocky IV.
Wasn't Red Sonja also in a Conan movie?
The Red Sonja co-starred Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay. But
he wasn't playing Conan, but it was like a Conan type character. I mostly put her on the just miss list because she kind of scares me. We got Jessica Alba, who did the Fantastic Four films, and whose major action credit was in TV on the Dark Angel series. Emma Watson, who I love. I think she's a great actress, but she's only really known mostly for Hermione Granger. And, I don't know if Hermione really counts as an action star or not. And then Sarah Michelle Gellar, who, although had an extensive career playing Buffy, on television, did not really have much in the way of an action movie star career on film, unless you count the Scooby-Doo films. So that leaves us with a field of 32. And then I also have a legend field. The legend field are the women that I consider the 4 original badass actresses. And that is Carrie Fisher, Linda Hamilton, Sigourney Weaver, and Pam Grier, whose careers all started in the 70s and spanned the 80s. So they're going to be our legends field. So in our field of 32, we have Jennifer Lawrence, who was in The Hunger Games, X-Men, Red Sparrow, and a number of other films. Mila Jovovich, who was in The Fifth Element, Ultraviolet, and the Resident Evil franchise. Rona Mitra, who was in Doomsday and Underworld: Rise of the Lycans. Kate Beckinsale, who was in all the Underworld films, as well as the remake of Total Recall. And Mike's favorite film, Van Helsing. Charlize Theron, who is in a really long list of action films when you look at her.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Atomic Blonde, Mad Max Fury Road, The Old Guard. She was in
Flux.
The Italian Job. I mean, you name it, man.
Hancock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
You forgot Aeon Flux.
Ion Flux. Yeah. She was also in. I can't. I mean, there's so many for her. Halle Berry, who was in the Catwoman film and the X-Men films. Famke Jensen, who is in X-Men and Taken.
Mm-hmm.
Brie Larson, who's a part of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Uma Thurman, who was in the Kill Bill films. Uma Thurman was also in Pulp Fiction, My Super Ex-Girlfriend, a few other like action films.
She played Poison Ivy.
She was also Poison Ivy in Batman. Batman Forever, right? Or no, was it Batman and Robin? Which one was she in? She was the
Batman
one
and Robin. Batman goes down the drain.
Yeah, that was the one.
Kind of like the Ernest franchise.
It was the one that had Schwarzenegger as Freeze, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have Elizabeth Olsen, who was in the MCU. She was also on the WandaVision TV show and another action film. She was in Old Boy. Michelle Yeoh, who is the other actress from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. She was also in Shang-Chi. She was the leader of the village at the end of the film.
Yep.
She is like the Asian actress that you go to when you need an Asian actress who can kick ass.
I think there is actually one other one.
Well, she's been in a million films.
Yes.
Lucy Liu, who's in Kill Bill, Charlie's Angels, and a number of other films. Angelina Jolie, who was in Tomb Raider, Wanted, Salt, The Eternals, etc. I mean, Angelina Jolie is another one who's been in a million action films.
Yes.
Saoirse Ronan, who was in the Hannah film. Ming-Na Wen, who I put down was in everything.
She's the other.
She's the other who seems to be in everything.
Yes.
Zoe Saldana for Star Trek and Guardians of the Galaxy.
And Colombiana.
And Colombiana.
Just a real quick note about Ming-Na Wen.
Mm-hmm.
You do know she's a Disney triple threat.
Yeah, she's in Star Wars.
Marvel.
She's in Marvel. And she's
the voice of Mulan. Yep.
Yeah. She's also 59 years old. I can't get over that fact. I can't get over that she's 59 years old.
Wow.
Anyway, Scarlett Johansson, who was in the MCU. She was in Lucy. She was in Ghost in the Shell, a few other action films. Michelle Rodriguez, who was in the Resident Evil franchise and the Fast and the Furious franchise. Keira Knightley, who was in Domino, the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. She was Amidala's double in Phantom Menace. That was her first screen role. Mm-hmm. Jennifer Garner, who was not only in the Alias TV series, but was also in Daredevil, Elektra, and most recently a film called Peppermint.
Yep.
Where she kicked some pretty serious ass in that film. We took Grace Jones, who I put in place of that one at 21, who was in the James Bond films and who was also in Conan. Carrie-Anne Moss, who was in the Matrix trilogy and the most recent Matrix film as well.
Yep.
Karen Gillan, part of the MCU. She was also in the Jumanji films and Gunpowder Milkshake. Natalie Portman, who is in Star Wars, Annihilation, and The Professional. Rachel Weisz from Black Widow, Constantine, The Mummy 1 and 2. Florence Pugh from Black Widow, from other MCU properties, and from Fighting With My Family. Jessica Chastain, who's in Dark Phoenix, Zero Dark 30, Ava, and the 355. Denai Guerrera, who plays Okoye in the MCU. She also plays Michonne on The Walking Dead. Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, the Fast and the Furious franchise, and Keeping Up with the Joneses. Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri in the MCU. Daisy Ridley from Star Wars and Murder on the Orient Express. And Tessa Thompson from Creed, the MCU, and Men in Black International.
Yep.
Whew, that was a long list.
I'm sorry, could you go back to the beginning? I missed it. I wasn't paying much.
Fuck you. All right, so I'm gonna bring the bracket up on the screen here for you. So anybody out there, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, you'll be able to see the bracket as well. We have broken it down into a field of 16 or a field of 32. So it's 16 matchups in the first round. The winner of these matchups will go on to round 2 and face off against each other there. The winners of round 2 will then go to the legend round. And in the legend round, they will be facing off against Carrie Fisher, Linda Hamilton, Sigourney Weaver, and Pam Grier. The winner of the legend round will make it to the semifinals. And then the winner of that will make it to the finals. And then we will have our tournament winner for all-time kick-ass actress. On the frozen tundra of Whitman Drive. Here we go. Round 1, match 1. Daisy Ridley of the Star Wars franchise versus Rona Mitra, who played the fake me out Kate Beckinsale character in Rise of the Lycans. And the film Doomsday. She's also one who's been in like a few other like sort of lower budget action films. Should I just go ahead and put Daisy Ridley in match 1 winner right now?
Well, honestly, I don't know Rona.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm looking her up now.
Other than from the Rise
okay. Okay.
She looks a lot like Kate Beckinsale.
She does look a lot like Kate Beckinsale. I'd still go with Daisy
Ridley.
Yeah, Daisy Fuentes, Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Fuentes. Wow. That's a callback. Wasn't she like a VJ on MTV?
On MTV.
Daisy Fuentes. Matchup number 2, Mila Jovovich versus Grace Jones.
I want to say Mila Mila Jo.
You can't vote for her unless you can say the name.
Jovovich.
Mila Jovovich.
Mila Jovovich. Grace Jones, to my understanding, did a lot in the 80s.
To all the children out there, this is what happens when you drink and podcast.
Jovovich.
Jovovich.
So yeah, Grace Jones's main body of work came in the 80s in one Conan film and one James Bond film.
Yep.
Whereas Mila Jovovich not only was the Fifth Element,
she was
she was the face of the Resident Evil franchise for like 8 movies. So I would probably say I would have to go with Mila Jovovich as well.
I would go with Mila.
Matchup number 3, Charlize Theron versus Carrie-Anne Moss. Now that's a tough one. I think Carrie-Anne Moss is great in the Matrix films. But I don't know if I can name any other movies.
I can name some Netflix shows she was on.
I could do too. I could also I can name some TV shows. She was on the TV show Chuck for a while with Zachary Levi.
She was in Memento, but that wasn't really an action movie.
Yeah, I mean, like she's a great actress, but as far as action goes,
and then the TV shows on Netflix, she's the lawyer throughout the MCU, the Marvel.
Yeah, some of the Marvel series. Yeah, but then you got Charlize Theron, who I just talked about in the the roundup on the notes. That my God, she's in so many films that I didn't even know about.
Yeah, so she definitely wins.
I think she definitely wins. If you guys have seen Mad Max Fury Road, she deserves to win just for that. Fury Road is a great friggin' movie, and she is awesome. Yeah. So we're gonna go with Charlize for that one.
That all.
Match number 4, Karen Gillan, who I love just because I'm a big Doctor Who fan. She was one of my favorite companions. But she's also probably best known as Nebula in the MCU. And in the new Jumanji films, versus Keira Knightley, who's another actress I really like, but kind of limited in the action movies when you think it's basically just the Pirates franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did this one movie called Domino where she played a hit woman, or she was kind of like she's like a bounty hunter, something like that. It's supposed to be based on a true story. She was in Bend It Like Beckham. It's a great movie, sports film. But I don't know. I think I'm kind of leaning towards Karen Gillan in this one.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I mean, just
I
her work,
concur.
just her work in the MCU alone.
Oh yeah.
And she
And
was,
she's more. She has, even though Jumanji's a comedy, she's more actiony in that than.
yeah, she's what's her name, Rhonda Roundhouse or something like that. Like
Yeah.
she's her like power is kicking guys' asses.
hmm
Mm. I feel like I did the math wrong on this. So we're on match 5 now.
Well, you gave, yeah, there should be 16 matches because you have 2 for each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep adding to the list then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you did English, right?
Yeah, math is the reason I thought English for 20 years. Famke Janssen versus Florence Pugh.
Famke Janssen. Who was that?
She was Jean Grey in the original X-Men films.
Okay.
She's also in the Taken franchises with Liam Neeson.
She was also a Bond. Well, she wasn't a Bond girl.
She was Xena Onatopp.
Right.
In the
With those thighs that could crack walnuts.
Yeah, I think it was one of the what's his face Bond.
Daniel
It was Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. I think it was one of his movies. And then Florence Pugh is pretty much new on the scene.
Yeah.
Although I think she stole the film as Yelena in Black Widow.
Yeah, I think it's her newness though that's pushing me towards Famke Janssen.
Famke Janssen.
Family Janssen.
The family jewels.
That's right. That's where my vote lies.
Mike, what are you thinking?
Oh, this is probably the toughest one yet. I think I'm gonna go with Florence.
You go with Florence Pugh?
Yeah, I'm going with Florence Pugh on this one. Because I don't think she was as badass as Jean Grey really could be.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Florence Pugh just because her charm wins me over. Letitia Wright versus Rachel Weisz. Now, Letitia Wright plays Shuri in Black Panther and in Endgame and all that.
Right.
Again, she's another like newer actress. She does have a really great, character, a lot of attitude. She's one of the smartest characters in the MCU. And then she's facing off though against Rachel Weisz, who has had a pretty, decent action film career. Mummy films. She was in Black Widow. She was in Constantine.
I think on this one I'm going to go with Rachel.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Rachel Weisz as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then that gives us Lucy Liu and Angelina Jolie.
Which should be a tough one, but
it should be a tough one. But I feel like Jolie kind of has this
hands down
between Wanted and the Tomb Raiders and
Eternals and
Salt. Wasn't she
Salt?
Salt?
She was in Salt. She was in the Eternals. She was in
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Yeah, I kind of feel like Angelina Jolie kind of takes
the
that
Changeling.
One. I mean, it's not take away from Lucy Liu. She's had some pretty good roles in Charlie's Angels and Kill Bill, but I feel like it's not as much as what Angelina Jolie. And then she also did that really bad movie with Antonio Banderas called X versus Sever. It was like one of the largest box office bombs in the history of box office bombs.
That sounds like an algebra equation.
Yeah, X versus Sever.
Mm-hmm.
It's the film's actual title is Ballistic: X versus Sever.
Yeah.
And so I think that alone takes some points off the board for her. The next one's Uma Thurman versus Natalie Portman.
Another tough one.
It is a tough one. You wouldn't think Natalie Portman would be considered a tough one because she's kind of like a serious actress. But then you look at her filmography, and I mean, her first movie at 13 years old was an action film. Like she did The Professional.
Right.
She was great in that film. And then she also did the Star Wars films. And, you know, her character does get in on the action a little bit. And then she most recently did a movie called Annihilation, which is a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
And she'll be the new Thor in.
That's right. She's going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
But they're talking about she's going to be the female Thor, which is what comes.
Yeah. So I mean, like, as much as I like Uma Thurman, and you know, she's great in the Kill Bill films, I kind of feel like Natalie Portman has a little bit of an edge here. Would you agree?
I would agree.
When I first saw it, I didn't think so, but now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah, when you think about it, like it's like I said, it's not one that kind of readily pops out at you.
At first glance, you're like, "Oh, Uma Thurman." Boom.
Yeah.
But then you get into it, and like,
And then you think about it a little bit, yeah. And I kind of feel like it's an arguable point,
it is.
and not everybody's going to agree with it, but I kind of feel like it works. Let's go to next matchup here, which is Zoe Saldana versus Denai Guerrera. Now, Denai Guerrera is great in The Walking Dead, but her film career has basically been limited to playing the role of Okoye in Black Panther and Endgame. Whereas Zoe Saldana, who is also a part of the MCU with the Guardians of the Galaxy films, has done the Star Trek films as well. Zoe Saldana's career has been more film oriented, whereas Denai Guerrera has been a little bit more TV oriented.
She also had Avatar. She also had Columbiana, and
And then what?
The
Avatar,
Losers. I forgot she was in The Losers. Too.
And I think what Avatar 2 is supposed to come out in another 30 years or something, right? So I think Zoe Saldana probably takes that one.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
I agree.
Next matchup is Jennifer Garner versus Scarlett Johansson. And Mike, don't let your prejudice show here because I know you really love Scarlett Johansson.
She's the better superhero between the two.
Yeah. Excuse me. No, Jennifer Garner's done a decent number of action films, but you got to think like two of them are Daredevil and Elektra, which are horrible.
They were horrible.
Where Scarlett Johansson has been the Black Widow for the longest time.
Yeah.
And has done a few other action films as well.
The Island.
Lucy. Was it Ghost in the Shell? So she's been a few action films. So I'm kind of leaning towards Scarlett, I think.
I would agree.
Well, you already know where
I already know where Mike's going. Kate Beckinsale versus Halle Berry. You guys
don't let your prejudice.
You already know what I'm fucking voting for.
He's already put it in. He's not even giving it
a winner's thing. Sorry, Halle Berry, I like you, but you will never beat Kate Beckinsale in my eyes.
No, and
we don't even need a vote on that one.
When you look at the movies, Halle Berry's character, I mean, okay, Catwoman, she, for as horrible of a movie as that was, she really did a kick-ass job at kicking ass. But that's been it. Storm, I mean, she didn't fight, you know? She used her powers, which is great. That's what Storm does, but there was no physical attribute, you know, no physicality there.
Hey. Ask Toad that question.
What happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning? Same thing that happens to everything else.
Great line, by the way. Great line.
Oh,
everybody got that. We were like, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Writing.
Kate Beckinsale, leather. That's all I gotta say. Just Kate Beckinsale, leather.
Use of guns.
Kicking werewolf.
Kicking ass, taking names.
Biting necks, all that shit. Ming-Na Wen versus Jennifer Lawrence.
I'm going with the cavalry. Fennec
Yeah,
and
probably.
Mulan.
I'm
Yep.
going with I love Jennifer Lawrence. I think she's a great
Yeah.
actress. She was in the X-Men film. She was okay. She was good in the Hunger Game films, but those films themselves weren't great. She's better as a serious actress, I think. Ming-Na Wen. Now I'm enamored with her, and I can't get over the fact that she's 59, and her action hero career has kind of like taken off in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, like I find that kind of impressive. So I am going with Ming-Na. And I guess you guys agree with me, right?
Yes.
Brie Larson versus Jessica Chastain.
Look up Jessica Chastain.
Now this one's kind of a tough one. Brie Larson is Captain Marvel.
Right.
Jessica Chastain is in Zero Dark 30. She was in Dark Phoenix. She was in a movie called Ava, where she plays a hit woman. She's in a new movie called The 355, which is another similar thing. She plays like a woman who's trained in all different weapons and stuff like that. It's a tough one. Brie Larson, really, it's kind of like it's just Captain Marvel. She's really only kind of started her action career.
Yeah.
Right.
Jessica Chastain has kind of been doing it for a little while.
Yeah. I'd go Jessica Chastain.
I'm gonna have to go with you guys on this one because I don't know if I've seen many things that she's been in.
You would like Zero Dark 30. It's about the guys that killed Osama bin Laden. She's
The only thing
the
I've seen her in is Dark Phoenix, and that was not
Yeah.
a great movie.
no, it
He's
wasn't a
an
great movie.
agent.
Elizabeth Olsen, best known as Scarlet Witch,
Mhm.
versus Tessa Thompson, who is Valkyrie. She's in Creed. She is in Men in Black International. I think this one's kind of a tough one.
I think it's a tough one because while Tessa Thompson has probably done more,
hmm
I think the character that Elizabeth Olsen's been playing can kick more ass.
Well, I think it's kind of more well known too at this point.
Right.
Yeah, but Elizabeth Olsen's okay. So we're doing badass women, right?
hmm
And you think of Elizabeth Olsen's character in Scarlet Witch, and I don't see her as combative, right? I mean, yes, I've seen her fight, but not as a warrior so much as Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie.
I'm kind of leaning towards Tessa Thompson too. I think.
Yeah.
No. So the next round is Michelle Rodriguez versus Gal Gadot. It's Wonder Woman versus one of the Resident Evil franchise people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it was Fast and Furious. No, that's Michelle Rodriguez. Yeah.
Well, it's actually Fast and Furious versus Fast and the Furious because they're both in that franchise.
Yeah.
I feel like Gal Gadot gets a little bit of an edge though because she's Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit.
She was also 5 months pregnant when she filmed the first film. Last one is Michelle Yeoh versus Saoirse Ronan. I love Saoirse Ronan. She's a great actress. She's only really been in Hannah as far as action films go,
Right.
whereas Michelle Yeoh has been in like 837 action films.
Got to go with Michelle Yeoh. She was
Somebody
also in a
Michelle
Bond.
Yeoh.
She was also in James Bond.
Yeah, she was. That's what I mean. Like she's a go-to when they need like somebody who can kick ass on film. She's kind of like a go-to.
Yeah.
So now we have to decide between these kick-ass women who's going to face the legend round people.
We got to drop them down to from.
We got to
This.
go from here down to 4.
Yeah, like you got to go to it goes to 8 then to 4.
Mhm. That's what I mean. So right off the bat, it's going to be Daisy Ridley versus Mila Jovovich.
Milla.
Yeah, I would say Mila Jovovich.
Milla.
So let's we'll highlight her. And then Karen Gillan versus Charlize Theron.
Sherry.
Charlize.
Oh, I love Karen Gillan, but I think
I do.
Charlize Theron has this one. Yeah. Florence Pugh versus Rachel Weisz. It's Black Widow mother versus Black Widow daughter. I think I'm gonna go with Rachel Weisz on this
I
one.
think I'd agree, Rachel.
I would agree
Weisz.
with that one too.
Let's see. Next, Angelina Jolie versus Natalie Portman.
That's a good one.
That's a good one, but I think it kind of leans towards Jolie a little bit.
I
would
agree.
agree.
So we'll bust through these rounds so we can get to the difficult stuff.
Now, this next one should be difficult.
Zoe Saldana versus Scarlett Johansson. Ooh.
I'm still going with Scarlett.
Hmm.
Mm,
I might have to go with Zoe Saldana.
I think I got to go with Scarlett.
You know what? Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm tossed up, so I'm glad you guys voted because I really couldn't decide. Kate Beckinsale versus Ming Na Wen.
Ooh,
Now this is tough because
That was tough.
I'm in love with both of them.
That's tough. That's tough.
They both look good for their age, right, Kev?
they both look really good for their age.
Ever tell you that story, Mike?
Yes, you have heard that one.
Kate Beckinsale looks good for her age. I mean, our age, Kev.
But I think I'm going to go with Ming.
I think Ming Na. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ming Na Wen as well, even though it kind of goes against everything I believe in.
Kate Beckinsale is a leather guy. I can't.
I
Geez.
know. Jessica Chastain versus Tessa Thompson.
I got to go Tessa Thompson. Like I said, she seems more warriorish.
I think I'm gonna go Tessa Thompson as well, as much as I love Jessica Chastain. And Gal Gadot versus Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh.
I have to go Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh.
I like Gal Gadot as well. Again, not a career that's not as long as the one that Michelle Yeoh has had.
Mhm.
All right, now this is the real test.
That the next
Knocking these down to 4 so they can go up against the legends.
the first
Mila
one.
Jovovich versus Charlize Theron. Ooh, man. That is a tough one.
That is.
Resident Evil franchise, Fifth Element, Ultraviolet versus Fury Road, Old Guard,
Aeon Flux.
Aeon Flux, Italian Job, Atomic Blonde. God damn, it's a hard one.
I think. Oh, God. I think I'm going to go Sherry Theron. I think that's my vote.
I'll tell you what, I really love Mila Jovovich, but I kind of feel like it's like that much
Yeah,
of like the scale leaning towards Charlize a little bit.
because I think this one's more. She looks more like she can kick your ass.
I also think Charlize Theron, though, is also a better actress in general. I mean, she is an Oscar winner as well. So I kind of think I have to go with Charlize.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Charlize too.
Rachel Weisz versus Angelina Jolie.
Jolie.
Okay. I'm not even going to put my word in there because you guys just both voted on that very quickly. Scarlett Johansson versus Ming Na Wen.
Damn.
My vote's for Ming Na.
My vote's for Ming Na too. It's
Sorry.
just I've seen her
Yeah.
do more.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, I can't be upset with that.
Tessa Thompson versus Michelle Yeoh. I'm going Michelle Yeoh. I can't go against her.
I'd have to agree.
She was like
Yeah.
she was this close to becoming one of my legends anyway.
Yeah.
So now let's match up our legends versus our current winners. So we're gonna put. I'm just gonna go down the line. So Charlize Theron,
Oh God.
and then we're gonna do. Here is gonna be Jolie, Ming Na, and the last round, Michelle Yeoh. So here's our legend round. Time to have fun arguing this one. Carrie Fisher, Ultimate Legend, Star Wars, Blues Brothers, When Harry Met Sally.
But if we're going to go with badass women,
Mhm.
I think
Yeah, Carrie Fisher is not physical, really. You know,
As
I'm gonna go with-
Leia, she is.
as Leia in a very minute respect.
She handles an AR-57 in Blues Brothers.
Well, that is true.
You're gonna go Charlize Theron over Carrie Fisher, Mike?
I am for badass women. Yeah,
Fucking blasphemy. How about you, Kev?
Blast for me, blast for you, blast for everybody. I'm gonna go Charlize.
Holy shit. I did not see Carrie Fisher getting knocked out. Linda Hamilton versus Angelina Jolie.
now this was a tough one.
Linda Hamilton, of course, best known for the Terminator franchise.
Where's Sarah Connor?
Now, here's the thing. You're going to argue that Carrie Fisher wasn't that much action just because of the Star Wars films, where I'm going to say Linda Hamilton has only really done the Terminator franchise
No,
and has only really become kick-ass from the second film on.
And I'm
First,
gonna agree-
the
I'm
first
gonna agree
film,
with
she
your
was the damsel in
logic.
distress.
And I'm going to agree with your logic.
and I agree with you as well.
So you're both going to go Jolie?
Yep.
We're gonna have to.
Wow. Sigourney Weaver versus Ming-Na Wen. Now, I love Ming-Na, and I'm very impressed with what she can do, but come on, it's Sigourney Weaver.
It's
It
Sigourney.
is. It's Sigourney Weaver.
This is the Alien franchise we're talking about
Yeah.
here.
She is the gatekeeper.
Yeah. Get away from her, you bitch.
It's definitely Sigourney on that
It's
one.
Sigourney Weaver. I'm sorry. I'm not. I was going to overturn you guys anyway. It's got to be Sigourney. Pam Grier, one of the original action actresses. She was in Foxy Brown in the 70s
Yep.
and Jackie Brown in the 90s. She was also in Ghost of Mars, it's a John Carpenter film. There's another movie that I just had in my head and I lost it. But she's been in a number of action films. Versus Michelle Yeoh.
The go-to.
So what are we thinking?
Pam Grier.
Pam Grier.
Yeah.
Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh. I am going Michelle Yeoh. So we only have one of the four legends that I have here making it to the next round.
hmm
Oh, man. So it comes down to this, gentlemen. Charlize Theron versus Angelina Jolie.
Ugh.
Sigourney Weaver versus Michelle Yeoh.
I'm gonna go Sigourney over Michelle.
We didn't even do Jolie and Charlize yet.
Yeah, I gotta think on that one for a while.
Mike's jumping, man.
Mike's got to think on that one for a while because that probably should have been our final.
Mm.
So we got I'm sticking with Charlize versus Jolie. We're gonna work this one
I'm
out.
gonna go Jolie.
You're gonna go Jolie. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
Charlize.
Okay.
So it comes down to Mike then.
Charlize.
Charlize
It was hard.
Theron. That was a difficult one. So she goes on to the final round. It's Sigourney Weaver versus Michelle Yeoh. Now, I've already talked about how much I admire Michelle Yeoh and the career she's had, but I feel like Sigourney is the trailblazer that started the whole kick-ass woman trend, and I can't go against Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
Yep. Sigourney.
Sigourney Weaver. As it should be. Now, this is a surprising final matchup. I had in my heart felt like Sigourney Weaver was going to make it to the end anyway. But I didn't see it coming down to Sigourney Weaver versus Charlize Theron.
Who did you think it would be against her?
I thought it was going to be Sigourney Weaver versus one of the other legends.
I just don't think they had.
Or maybe- or maybe like Michelle Yeoh or something like that.
I don't think some of the legends had the background that
I mean, I considered them legends just because they had
They began it,
the
yeah.
earliest careers. You know,
yeah.
I couldn't really find anything prior to like the 1970s. You know, it was anything considered like an action film, especially one, you know,
Women, yeah.
with a woman in the lead. I mean, Pam Grier was kind of like the first, whereas, and then Sigourney Weaver was the one that kind of made the action female star like a viable thing at the box office.
Yep.
Florence Henderson should have made it on there.
So should the field.
Mm.
So I mean,
Florence Henderson in the field.
I'm voting for Sigourney Weaver.
I got to go with that too.
Well, I'll be the standout with Charlize.
So Sigourney Weaver, there you have it, folks. Sigourney Weaver has won our bracket and is the most kick-ass female actress of all time.
The field wins. The field.
It's a miracle. So there you have it. That is our bracket for kick-ass women. Now I have a little bonus segment here. My bonus segment is women who are badass for inspiring us. So not just women who could kick ass in a physical sense, but women who can kick, you know, moral ass or emotional ass or just inspire us in some way. So for example, I have Taraji P. Henson as Katherine Johnson, Octavia Spencer as Dorothy Vaughan, and Janelle Monáe as Mary Jackson in the film Hidden Figures. Three African-American women who worked for NASA and helped solve the problem of getting our ships into orbit, and they were unsung heroes in that film.
Yep.
Jodie Foster is Clarice Starling in Silence of the Lambs.
I could say Jodie Foster in a lot of the roles she played.
Yeah, I mean Jodie Foster is even somebody you probably could have put on that kick-ass bracket, but I just feel like hers was more cerebral characters than like action characters. And I mean, come on, Silence of the Lambs is a classic, so you can't knock that.
No.
And you know, the reason I throw her on that, women who are badass for inspiring us is because she's the woman who has to fight against the male hierarchy that she deals with the entire film.
The male tropes
Right.
of
we're talking about.
Yeah.
Women who are badass for inspiring us. That's our bonus segment.
Yeah. Well, in a lot of other roles, she does stuff like that too.
What'd you say, Kate?
Your wife should be included.
Our wives, Katie said our wives should be included on the badass women who inspire us.
My wife is upstairs
There's my
sleeping.
Katie. No, Katie don't want to be on film.
But she wants to be heard.
Erin Brockovich, starring Julia Roberts as Erin Brockovich.
Mm.
Yeah, for that role, I can agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, she's a woman who used her wiles a little bit in the film, but she did so to try to get money for these people who had been affected by this like nuclear power plant in their town and all that.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of my favorite movies, and I love this character that she plays because she's really, really quirky. The movie is Fargo. It stars Frances McDermott as Marge Gunderson.
Yep.
Oh, don't you know? Don't you know?
Yeah.
Ah, don't you
He's
know?
a big fella.
A big fella. She plays
He's
the
a big
sheriff in Fargo, North Dakota. She's 8 months pregnant in the film. I mean, her character is. I don't know if the actress was or not, but the character was. And then she's on a murder investigation, you know. And it's a very quirky role, very quirky movie. Thelma and Louise, which is another one, probably could have maybe been kick-ass women. But I put it down there for Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon. Because it's a movie about two women kind of taking their life in their own hands and going and doing their thing, and dying on their own terms. But then I also threw some bonuses in there because Gina Davis was also in A League of Their Own, which is a great kick-ass role, and Susan Sarandon was in Dead Man Walking, where she plays a nun who is working with Sean Penn, who's playing a guy on death row.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, she spends the movie trying to get him to kind of confess and ask for forgiveness and all that stuff. It's a really, really strong, powerful movie. And then I threw down here as probably the ultimate in inspiring female actresses and characters, Nichelle Nichols as Uhura in the original Star Trek films.
Yes.
The original Star Trek series.
I don't know if you guys know this, but she was thinking about leaving the job, and Martin Luther King
Mhm.
talked her into staying because she was so inspiring to
Mhm.
I
them.
was actually going to say, like, one of the reasons I included her was because of her interaction with Martin Luther King, who said, he and his daughters watched the show and they love it because it's the first show that they watch where a black woman was represented in such a important role.
Mhm.
And she was getting ready to leave the show, but she was so honored by Dr. King saying that to her that she decided to stay.
Yeah,
And
probably got sick of Shatner and Nimoy fighting.
well, she also shared the first interracial kiss on TV with Shatner.
Mhm.
Technically, no. There was another one earlier than that. But the Star Trek one is the one that always gets kind of like mentioned as the very first. And I think it's more because of the fact that Shatner and Nichelle Nichols were kind of really well-known actors at the time. But there was another one.
Are
that
you
happened
thinking
earlier
of the one between Sammy Davis Jr. and Carol? What was his name?
Carol O'Connor on
Carol
All in the
O'Connor
Family. That would be the first white guy, black guy kiss on TV.
Oh, okay.
But there was definitely another one. I remember reading, there was this article I read that said like they were like film and TV myths. And so like they always refer to that one as the first one on TV. But it's not. The first one was 1968. Oh no, I'm sorry. That is the Star Trek episode, but there's definitely one earlier than that. I'm trying to find it.
I say Star Trek was around 1968.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. First interracial kiss was in a movie in 1957 called Island in the Sun.
There's a movie.
Island in the Sun.
The first
Yeah.
interracial kiss on
Kiss on
television.
film. Yeah. So the first one on television would be them.
Yeah.
But then you got to think about it, like the movie came out in 1957. That was the first, and that's a movie. That's pretty big. But the movie was banned in a number of movie theaters around the country. So yeah, a lot of protests, banning, things like that. So that was interesting. So, you guys have anything to add to this? You think? What do you think of our bracket tonight?
I thought it went pretty well.
I thought the field would have gotten further.
Yeah, other than my terrible math skills, I thought we did okay with that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I worked so friggin' hard on that bracket, and I still fucked it up. I put a lot of effort into that. I still managed to figure out a way to screw it up. But anyway, I still think we got it. I feel like Sigourney Weaver was the right choice for the winner anyway.
Yeah, I would have liked to see. No, I think I like to have seen.
More of Kate Beckinsale in leather.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think Carrie Henn should have gotten some.
Who?
Carrie Henn. She
Carrie
played
Henn.
Newt in Alien.
I think
Who else? Carrie Henn.
actually, I think if we had a perfect world, the last ones from the main bracket,
Mhm.
I think Mila would have made it if she wasn't going against, some of the ones.
So what I could have done though is I could have included the four that I considered legends into the original bracket and made it a field of 36 instead of 32.
No, I'm just saying, like, not that I have a problem with the bracket. Believe me, the bracket was great. It's just, I think Michelle Yao got further along than we thought she would because of her extensive background.
I thought she got as far as I expected her to. Now I have seen a lot more of her movies, I'm sure, than you guys have, because I do occasionally watch Asian cinema as well.
Yeah.
So I've seen her in Chinese speaking films and such.
But see, just looking at the 32, just glancing real quick, like I did, I would go. My four that I would have picked out right off the bat would have been Mila, Shirley Theron,
Mhm.
Angelina Jolie, and probably Probably Lucy Liu.
Really? I think
Yeah.
maybe Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about Lucy Liu.
Yeah, Uma Thurman.
Okay, so we're recording this episode on Thursday, February 3rd, which means it's going to be dropping on Monday, February 7th. Our next episode is going to be recorded on February 10th, meaning that the day it drops is Monday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. So you have to know that for Valentine's Day, we had to plan a very, very special episode. So for our February 14th, 2022 episode 48 of Films and Fermentation, our Valentine's Day theme this year is most depressing films in cinema history.
Yes.
Oh no! And that is
About
not
time.
a lie. This is Kevin's topic that he's been dying to do. So for Valentine's Day this
Right.
year, our very special Valentine's Day episode will be the most depressing films in cinema history. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight for episode 47, the Kick-Ass Women in Cinema bracket. If you have any argument against our choice as the all-time kick-ass women being Sigourney Weaver, if you think we forgot anybody on our bracket, please drop us a line to filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit us on any of our social media platforms. I'll be leaving a you're right there, Kev. Kev's like
I'm fine.
really you
Everything's fine.
swallowed a bug or something.
Yeah, I think it
I think somebody's already got to him for the next week's episode.
is.
You can find our episodes on YouTube. In fact, I encourage you to watch the YouTube episode this week because we have the bracket on screen for you, so you can see how much my math sucks.
Yeah, we got
Also-
Katie on screen.
You see my wife halfway on screen. Also, we can be downloaded and listened to on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, on Stitcher, Spreaker, any of the podcast platforms out there. But if you listen to us on Spotify, I will be including a poll question on this episode that you can answer on the Spotify website or on the link to our Spotify episode. And the poll question will be asking you what you think is the most kick-ass woman in cinema history. So
Hey,
please
Lee.
answer that question for us. Yes.
How long does this poll questions go? Because Adrian went on there for the last one and it was already done with by the time she listened to this.
Yeah, I set it up for like a week last time.
Okay.
But I can also I can set it up indefinitely as well.
Okay.
So
Because
I'll do the question and I'll set it up for it'll open on Monday when the episode drops, but I'll leave the end date open-ended.
Okay.
All right. So join us again for episode 48 next week, most depressing films in cinema, a special Valentine's Day episode. I'm Leo.
And Kevin.
I'm Mike.
Thank you for joining us here at the intersection. I'm so fucked up right now. I'm looking at my face, and my face is as red as my wine is right now.
Yeah, you're very. You're blotchy.
I've gotten redder as the episode has gone on. So thank you for joining us here at the intersection of pickled and fermented. We hope you enjoyed listening to the episode as much as we enjoyed recording. As much as we've enjoyed recording it for you. Cheers, everybody.
Easy for you to say. Cheers.
Cheers.
Some from the guy who couldn't say Famke Janssen.
Famikin Chimchasifin.
Mila Havavich.
Mela
Mila
Havavagila.
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 All right,
Milovich.
see you all later.